Good evening.
Good evening.
I want to say thank you. I think that we take for granted sometimes. I feel like we're a little spoiled. You guys, you've done an amazing thing. Your whole kind of generation, I think, really. I listened to you guys and just a lot of apologists, and I think we take for granted how comfortable we now feel. My generation, at least, in being able to share our faith.
Really?
So yeah, I think you guys.
That's
really,
marvelous news. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I think you really, you guys were the pioneers, and I'm really grateful to that. So the question is this, really, maybe like from an analytical point of view, it's really an existential question. I've spoken to people who can say something like, well, listen, I have this struggle in me to be a moral person. I have that morality, that kind of, that stuff that all of them wrote about, Dostoevsky and all of them. But I don't see anything perfect in nature, in reality. So how can I believe in something that's perfect? So how can that person, they're kind of living with this inconsistency, right? So they want that, they have that desire to be perfect, but they can't kind of, bow the knee, as it were, because they don't see anything or experience anything perfect on a moral level.
Yeah, I think this is a person who is ripe for coming to a knowledge of God, because I really doubt that a person will come to find God as a personal reality in his life without first having a deep sense of sin and need of forgiveness and moral cleansing. And so a person who recognizes the demands of the ethical life and who recognizes his desperate inability to live up to the demands of the moral law and to approximate the moral good is a person who has a deep existential need. And I would think such a person might be very open to a moral argument for God's existence, where you would point out that in the absence of God to serve as a paradigm of moral value and a source of moral duty, that moral values and duties are just human illusions fobbed off on us by the evolutionary process and social conditioning. And so if he really does sense the demands of the good and of the moral law and the objectivity of these duties that are laid on him, he automatically has grounds for a transcendent good or being that perfectly embodies the moral ideal and whose commands then give us the content of our moral duties. And so that kind of argument, I think, would be very persuasive to someone of the sort you've described for believing in God as the source and foundation for the moral good. And there are a lot of good Christian works on this today.
Could you recommend something for the reading?
Steve Evans just published a little book on this. Or there's a book by Dave Baggett, I think called, what is the title of it? Something like Good God or something of that sort. David Baggett and Jerry Walls have a book on this. Those are popular level books. There are lots more sophisticated books like Robert Adams' book on finite and infinite goods, but these popular level books would be good intros to that. So something like Stephen Evans' recent book on moral values in God.
All right. Thank you. All the best.
Yeah.